Tony Allison. The tempers overflowing. They're angry. They know they have lost.
Four deep behind Storm Kenton.
This lap.
3 wide and deep.
This is like a damn plate race. Yeehaw, baby. 3 with no help. Push him up. Race all the way back, baby. We got this.
Real man.
Awesome job, dude. Awesome job.
Let's go, Bulls. Let's go. Oh, my God. Please.
We are the champions. Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, I was going to do the Colin Cowherd thing. I forgot. Welcome to the NASCAR Weekly Podcast special edition. The iceberg has sunk. Oh, now we got the logo at least. But how's everybody doing? We have over 1,000 people watching us on a Wednesday afternoon. This is fantastic. A momentous, historic day for NASCAR, the National Association of Stock Car Auto Racing. I'm Eric Estep. This is my channel. I'm joined by our usual NASCAR Weekly Podcast hosts, Darian Gilliam, a.k.a. Black Flags Matter. I like that Johnny Andretti t-shirt, by the way. I forgot to mention that when you get in here.
Thank you.
That's pretty
I wore
cool.
it during the Daytona 500 weekend, man. And also, I got to say, is Quinn Hoof or Half driving the John Andretti scheme this weekend, too?
He's what? I think there's a couple out there. Yeah, he's in one of them.
Yeah, he's in the 00 one, so I had to represent. I love
Hope
this.
he makes him proud.
Jared, what's up with the camera now?
I don't know what's up with it. I'm working on it. Okay, so funny story for those watching who can't see me. I get here and my original camera doesn't work, so I had to use the other one. It's fine. I get the mic's not working. Well, it turns out I didn't plug the thing in. And so I do get everything set up, and literally right as we go live, it goes black. And I'm like, what the hell?
It's just
That's big.
So,
Well, we appreciate everyone tuning in. I know NASCAR on their official YouTube channel is going live in about 13, 14 minutes.
They
or so.
almost have 3,000 people waiting, so this is huge. This is a huge day for stock car racing,
This is
folks.
big, especially
This is
for
Christmas.
a
It's
Wednesday
Christmas,
afternoon.
basically.
Whoa,
all right,
whoa,
it's on the computer. It's on the computer camera now. I
That's
don't know
kind of
what's
scary.
up
We
with
saw
it.
him peek through there for a
Yeah,
moment.
peek for a little bit.
Well, thank you,
Hello.
everyone, for tuning in. Danny B will hopefully be joining us a little bit later in the stream, but we will be talking all things next gen today. We're going to give you guys our initial reactions to the look of the Toyota Camry, the Ford Mustang, and the Chevy Camaro. We'll also really just listen to what the chat wants to talk about as well. We will show some clips from the NASCAR live stream. We're not just going to sit here and play their live stream, for you guys. Encourage you to go pull that up in a separate window as well. I'm sure it's going to be fun. But we're going to talk about the most notable things that NASCAR reveals here today and give you some of our initial thoughts. And thank you, Neil Martin, with the first super chat. Let's go. Hope you boys are doing well. we're doing fantastic, and it's going to be a great stream. Now, there he is.
There you go. What's up, buddy?
Thank you, Gavin, and thank you, Groovy Goose, Quinn Huff and Puff, and he's already telling me to spin the UFO, Jarrett. Perfect time for your big reveal.
Perfect.
Got it.
Perfect.
Fantastic. Well, before
The lighting.
NASCAR reveals the look of the next gen car, we don't really know what all they're going to show us today. It might just be what they look like. They might give us some more specific technical details. We're really not sure. There's a lot we already know, but I want to begin by asking you guys, what is the significance of this day? Like, NASCAR has put a lot behind this car. It's supposed to be kind of expensive up front, but it's supposed to help save teams money in the long term. It's a total reimagining of what NASCAR stock car racing is going to look like, especially from a technical standpoint. So, how important is this day? And also, how important really is the next 10 or more years probably?
This car is really going to set up NASCAR for the 2020s for better or for worse. They seem very committed to this no matter what. We are venturing into the unknown here. Me personally getting into Formula One IndyCar, there's just so many technological advances they've had over the years. And I feel like NASCAR is finally catching up with those guys with all these changes to a certain extent. And it's just, like I said, just venturing into the unknown with, how much horsepower are these cars going to have? Like, how many packages will we have too, and also like this rear diffuser as well. How is that going to affect performance? You know what I mean? And then also, most importantly, hopefully these cars stay extremely hard to drive, because the harder these cars are to drive, the more driver talent we will see rise to the top. And I can't wait to see that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at the grand scheme of the next 5 to 10 years, 10 years especially, I think that it really is crucial to get the racing part of it right. Like, we got it looking, like the Gen 6, for all the flack it gets, it did cover an issue, right? Like, everyone hated the COT because it didn't look like an actual car. We got the Gen 6 to look like an actual car, but the racing wasn't up to par. But it accomplished something. The goal of this, twofold. One, to accomplish better racing. That's got to be the number one goal. And I think the way that NASCAR is, I mean, we saw this past week, there were more people watching this Kansas race than I think in 5 years, right? So there's interest back in the sport comparably to 3-4 years ago. I think now is when, if NASCAR can get this right and capitalize, I think that could shoot it off, maybe not to mid 2000s levels, but to a really stable, good level heading into what it's really going to be, a big time change in the sports and racing landscape. So that's a big one there. And then the second one is at first it's going to cost the teams, but if they can keep it cost effective heading into that era of change as well, I think that'll make the competition stronger too. So it really has a lot of potential. It's a matter of if they can just capitalize on it.
Absolutely.
And also to bring up too, the amount of new teams that can come within the sport just in the next 2 to 3 years alone.
Look at Colleague next year.
Yeah, Colleague Racing. They're going to be coming in, and their story is good. Starting a single car Xfinity team, and then now going to be a Cup Series team in the future full time.
They even got Dale Jr. to at least consider the possibility of bringing JRM to Cup one day. Like the next gen car, I think that is, I think a lot of people have said this, and actually thank you, GN. I'm glad you like that intro. And Jake says to spin the UFO. There will be a NASCAR Weekly podcast tomorrow night on your channel, right? Yes, Darian. Yes. Yeah. But I think that's really the way that the next gen car is going to be measured. The success is going to be measured is, do new race teams enter the sport, and are they able to not only survive but also eventually become competitive? But also, will a new manufacturer enter the sport in the next 10 years? And I think a lot of that has to do with NASCAR's new engine package. Whenever that eventually gets developed and finalized, it's sort of been delayed because of COVID and other things, but over the next few years, NASCAR is probably going to roll out a very different engine than anything we've ever seen. They're talking about adding electrical components, not going all electric, but
hybrid, possibly.
Steve Phelps, hybrid. Steve Phelps has said the growl, the noise, the roar of the engines is still important. That's not going away anytime soon. But adding a more modern elements, more electrical components to the engine is going to be what NASCAR hopes attracts new manufacturers. And I think that really is it. If 10 years from now we're still just looking at Ford, Chevy, and Toyota, to me that would tell me the next gen failed at its job and its in what it set out to do. But NASCAR's optimistic that there will be new manufacturers on the horizon if a few other things get tweaked. And so we're optimistic as well. And I think that's good because more manufacturers means more money in the sport, which is good for everyone, good for the health of everything, but also more teams and teams that bring their own factory drivers that hopefully will turn out to be really competitive. And then we can start to, get back to rewarding more drivers based on merit and skills as opposed to just, who brings the biggest check. That's always going to be a part of racing.
Money.
I mean, we see that in Formula One that happens to some drivers. It's natural in any racing world, I guess, that is still the
You could
case.
buy a whole team too and rebrand it into a Russian team.
But, anything to kind of mitigate that effect a little bit, I think is great. So hopefully, and thank you, Groovy Goose, everyone in the chat is honking. Hopefully we get some more manufacturers.
And also by the way, for those who follow Dylan Smith on Twitter, no, Dodge is not they are not coming back to NASCAR. That's for some little promo thing, so please. I saw some people on there like, oh, is Dodge gonna return? No, not that I know.
He was talking to like Ray Everham, right?
You can't say a potential project in the works.
I won't say what he was talking about, but Ray Everham is big in racing. He's launched a whole new series this year.
Yeah, basically. Might be talking about that too.
And I'm looking right now. We are T-minus 6 minutes away from the unveiling opening. So
and just under
exciting.
4,500 waiting as well.
That's big.
Well, and we want to thank all 1,600 of you watching.
Yes, and thank you to 1,600 on our stream too. That's crazy.
The chat is weighing in on some of the manufacturers they would like to see join, like Pontiac, BMW, Oldsmobile.
Bring McLaren. I'd like to see McLaren. Why the hell not? Man?
Thank you, Skid, as well. We will now see a better image of the next gen instead of a 144p image. That is true. Hey, we have that 144p image here. Look at that. You guys can't see it, Darian and Jared, but on screen they're looking at the lead photo.
Oh, I see it.
So
yeah,
that's the best look we've gotten of the next gen.
That Mustang is wide, bro.
That's what I'm saying. And what we were talking about, and I kind of compared it. It was a very crude Photoshop of it, but was that the greenhouse area looks to be a little more like compacted in, and the car I think is bigger, so they have that room to go down with it a little more. So I'm wondering, with it not being as much of a driving brick out there and being more, basically looking more like a race car. That's a lot of the younger drivers are saying. It drives and looks like a race car.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of wondering how that's going to affect the racing. And then if you look at the Mustang compared to the Camaro has like a normal blade on the back, and there's like nothing on that Mustang, man.
Nothing at all.
I wonder if, you guys mentioned that, they're talking about perhaps, revealing or having multiple rules packages. There's the short track package, maybe an intermediate, and then like a super speedway. I wonder if today, because they have 3 cars, maybe they'll have like the super speedway package on the Ford, the short track package. So we might see variable spoilers or splitters on the car today. I doubt it, but maybe that's what that leaked image is hinting at. I don't know.
That could be a possibility.
I read, I won't say I read because I was out and busy at the time, but I skimmed through Matt Weaver's article last night about it.
Oh, yeah.
And I know that there's like rumor of a 670 package, a 550, and then like a super speedway one. So I don't know for sure. Because again, I don't know what intel he's getting that the rest of us haven't, but man, that car, those cars look slick. I mean, just the street cars look good.
Yeah. I'm showing them the street cars that they have. This is behind the scenes at the thing today. This was posted earlier this morning.
I'm looking for something.
Darian's digging through his laundry. Cameron Andrews says his prediction for today is that we'll get a smart car reveal to NASCAR.
Geico's whole 15.
Oh gosh, got a Geico ad playing. Sorry, the stream on NASCAR's end is starting. There you go. All right. Groovy Goose.
Can't find my lug nuts, man. I wanted to get my lug nuts out. I can't find them.
Will Elon Musk throw a metal ball at the windows? Is that what he did for like the Cybertruck reveal or something?
I think so.
I don't know. I would guess. I feel like I remember that being a meme. And thank you, Michael.
They're live. They're live right now, actually.
Yeah. Thank you, Michael, as well. With the next gen being run for the iRace tonight, do you think we'll see slid back numbers or relatively normal paint schemes?
Slid back numbers. Probably slid back numbers.
It's too soon. They haven't had enough time to like work on it.
They want to unveil it.
Okay. If for NASCAR's sake, what they should do is do normal numbers tonight. Don't taint the unveiling day. Make sure that everything is as good as possible. Fan hype is as high as possible. If they're gonna do it, then later on they can put it in.
Yeah, I don't think they're gonna not only debut the virtual next gen car tonight, but then also the silver. Like you're gonna get the highest of highs. Look at this new car, but then you're gonna get the lowest of low. All the numbers. I don't think they're going to do that all at once.
It's rolling, folks.
Yeah, I'm showing you guys. So again, we're not going
they got a countdown too, by the way.
We're not going to play the entire we're not going to play the whole stream here, as you guys can see on screen. We're not going to This is NASCAR stream. Again, go to NASCAR's YouTube channel, pull it up in a separate window.
Have 2 tabs open.
Exactly, if you want to watch their reveal themselves. But we will cut to it occasionally just to see what they're showing, see what they're talking about perhaps. But yeah, there you have it. 2.5 minutes, T-minus 2:30. Kawasaki and Suzuki to NASCAR. Stellar Hippo is really throwing some names out there right
Bring
there.
Kia. I want to see a Kia Soul. I have a Kia Soul. I'm a proud Kia Soul owner.
Kia Soul.
bring Hyundai too. I got a Sonata. I'd be, man, if I saw Sonata out there, I'd become like the biggest like Hyundai stan ever on the show.
Wow.
The reason I brought up McLaren too, I saw one while I was in downtown Nashville. I was like, Danny thought it was a Corvette. I'm like, no, that's a McLaren. And then I see it, I saw the logo. I'm like, oh, it's a white McLaren. Let's go. Right, come to NASCAR.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Groovy Goose, what does Denny Hamlin's name and his 2021 season have in common? Neither one has a W and both have L's.
Damn.
Wow. Groovy Goose.
Damn.
This is a good, interesting question we can quickly talk about before in the next minute and a half from Isaac. What team will benefit the most from the next gen car? Do you guys think this will sort of bridge that gap between the competitive teams and the lesser competitive teams?
You know, it could be a combination of like, you know, because look at Stuart Haas this year and the way they're struggling. I think they're going to just put all of their resources into this next gen at the moment, sort of like write this season off, and they'll be fully ready for 2022, in my opinion. And then also these newer teams, perhaps 2311 and Trackhouse might rise, you know, a little bit more in terms of performance. We'll have to wait and see, though.
I think at first we're definitely going to see some surprises, but I think over time, the better teams are always going to, you know, they have the money.
The Hendricks, the Penskes, you know, those Gibbs.
They're going to still be good. But, I mean, if you look back to when, for instance, when the COT was brought in, Haas was really good before Tony Stewart even went over there. In 2007, in the first, I think, like 10 races, guys like Scott Riggs were running in the top 10 with people like Jeff Gordon, Dale Jr., Jimmy Johnson. So I do think we're going to see some surprises. I don't think that, you know, it's going to be doom and gloom and be like, oh yeah, it's just going to be Gibbs, Hendrick, and Penske all the time. I think we're going to see, I think a 2311 or a Trackhouse could come up. I think maybe a Spire could take the next step. Who knows? You know, I know that people are talking about putting money into Rick Ware Racing. Maybe they can go from being more of a moving chicane to a team that can get some lead lap finishes and compete for top 30s and top 25s. It's a definitely, if there's a word that I can really describe all of it, is opportunity. Like this car is an opportunity, and I think that a lot of people are going to capitalize on that.
Absolutely. And actually, you can see here NASCAR, their stream is officially rolled. They're showing some behind the scenes, more testing footage. Thank you, Skull. He says he suggests Alfa Romeo joins NASCAR. How about that? Groovy Goose, will this next gen car bring in more manufacturers? I think that's the big question. I think NASCAR is hopeful it will help in the next few years, but I guess until we actually see a Honda or somebody, we won't know for sure. And thank you, Nate, for the big super chat. Hey guys, do you think the different body styles for the next gen car will create new advantages and disadvantages for each model, creating a clear best manufacturer? I don't know. Ooh, check this out though.
They look nice.
Yeah. Whoa, hold the phone for just. We'll get back to that in just a moment.
They sound good too.
Oh yeah, I don't even have the audio turned on here. I'll let everyone hear it just a little bit.
See Logano in the Ford there. He's coming out. Also, Hamlin in the Toyota.
Who's that revving those engines?
And Chase Elliott in the Chevy.
That's pretty cool. And then they play like some Rocket League music in the background.
Yeah. I'm gonna be on Rocket League too. I might be streaming that. Like, I gotta get the pack.
That looks pretty good. Yeah, wow.
Yeah, nice.
Hey, Darian, there's your favorite Ford driver ever right there.
Hey, I always said he'd be a top 3 talent, man.
The Chevy, there was a view. I think you maybe are like 5 or 10 seconds ahead of the rest of us, Darian, but there was a view of the Chevy I thought was interesting where you could kind of really see, like, I don't know what to call it, like the width, like that, like you can see kind of the front end. It's angled differently than the current cars for sure. Like I can't really describe it, but
it looks lower.
Yeah. Thank you, Steven. Ooh, man, these cars. He's loving it. Justin James, Eric Hall Harvick, what he is, cheater boy, who will wreck the field. Wow, Justin James coming out here slandering Kevin Harvick.
Whoa. I was just thinking of immediately of the song Skater Boy. He was a cheater boy, crashed the whole field, boy.
Groovy Goose, Eric want to 1v1 me in Rocket League tomorrow. Maybe someday, Groovy Goose. There, and then there was a super chat about, what bodies do you think will have advantages or disadvantages? I mean, we saw like how the Camaro, when it first was introduced, the Gen 6 era Chevy took a while to figure it out. I don't know. Could we see a manufacturer like clearly lag behind the others at first? I think it's possible.
I mean, it always happens. There's always that one that always lags behind. We've seen it before.
Can you hear what she's saying, Darian? I don't have the audio. What's Shannon
I
talking
turned
about?
her audio on my end.
What is she talking about?
Oh, they're just pumping it up, which I've assumed.
Pump it up, baby.
Hype.
Next
I'm
gen.
trying to those noses look lower. I mean, it looks like a mix in a lot of ways between a Gen 6 and a Pinty's car.
No, we love the Penties series. We love the Penties.
I'm just listening right now.
And it's like the sweet design.
Got some in the chat.
Growling engine.
Eye candy, a lot of flame emojis. That Camry, though. Wow, someone managed. A few people are saying the Camry.
My eye is drawn to that Mustang, though, man.
Yeah,
I don't know. I love that
the
Mustang.
Mustang is the one I'm looking. Maybe it's just because it has the most interesting wrap on it, in my opinion. I like that blue, but
It looks nice.
the Mustang does look pretty nice.
It does.
I gotta say.
Do you notice though they looks like at least they have like a version of the nostrils on the Mustang too, like the street
do.
version.
Yeah,
I
they got
saw
those.
that.
I know they're gonna have hood vents to help with engine cooling. They did say that. I guess it looks like you can see them.
And for looks as well. It's
I
a
mean, they
good
look cool.
combo.
They look cooler than the nostrils did a few years back. And thank you, Steven. Guessing it looks like they have chosen a small spoiler. I hadn't even looked at the spoiler. Yeah, wait, what is?
They're non-existent. It looks like
They're just hiding. They're still in development. We don't have a
Now,
good
by
view.
the way, I want to point out the ratio on it right now. 1.4 thousand likes to 12 dislikes. Not bad. Not bad for the channel.
Our streamer,
On that, no, their stream. Their stream.
my
but
screen,
be sure to
they-
lick that like button.
on my screen,
Yeah.
they have over 3,000 likes. So
Oh,
they're cooking
let me
over there.
refresh it. Let me refresh it,
Yeah.
actually. Yeah, oh, never mind.
Oh,
Yeah,
I see the
look at that like that.
Steves. The Steves
The
are
Steves.
here, boys. Yeah. All right, Jared, let us know what they're saying. I don't want them to them to talk over us. This is our stream. We own these streets.
Well, they just asked what it means to NASCAR and its future.
It for sure means a lot of good stuff. I want to throw up some images that I found before the reveal today. This was an interesting image I found of what the rear diffuser looks like. I've been desperately looking for a good view of the rear diffuser ever since it was first tested, and this is the best. Like you can see, it covers almost the entire underbelly of the race car.
Oh, yeah.
And you can see how it looks at the end there. Like that's one of the clearer images I've seen so far. Thank you, Skull. The Camaro and Mustang look like GT class cars. A lot of people were saying that about the Mustang, I thought for sure.
Yeah.
The Camaro maybe as well.
Going for more of that race car look, too. Good combo. Stock car, race car. Like it.
But here's a good view. This is a good view of the diffuser, which again is meant to help with some of those aero deficiencies, especially in traffic at the big tracks. It's to help mitigate the effects of dirty air a bit. You're never going to fully get rid of it, but it's to help mitigate that a little bit, which I think it's nice to see NASCAR is clearly making an effort. They see where some of the biggest challenges are at the bigger tracks, and they're at least making an attempt to work on it. And then here's another shot of the single lug nut. This is an old photo, but this is
The
single
new
lugs are still
era.
there. Yep.
The new era. If you get a freaking lug nut penalty next year, you completely
This
deserve
pig
it.
lug
nut
nut
looks like it's a
penalty
cartoon.
flying.
Yeah.
Your lug nut penalty will be flying into the fence.
Yeah, basically. And then after you fly in the fence, then they'll find you. So double trouble.
They'll fine you for the damages to the wall.
Basically.
Thank you, Groovy Goose. Which one will do better at Daytona and Talladega? See, that's the thing. I wonder what are they going to do with the rules packages for super speedways?
I don't know, but hey, I gotta say, with this gen car we have currently, the package I think it's awesome. Yeah, it could be better. Just gotta up the safety enhancements and stuff. But I don't know. I don't know if we're gonna see a complete overhaul of it because of Logano's flip. So I'm not sure.
We'll see. I don't know if we'll get a complete overhaul just because of what Logano said about it at the end. But
You never know.
I think it'll be interesting. Like, do they do something though to limit some of those runs?
Steve O'Donnell just said I think they're having testing now at Texas.
I saw
cars
Blaney is
still.
testing. Yeah. Let me hear.
So this might not be. I mean, it might still have small differences when it's racing next year compared to what we see right now. I mean, for instance, I saw, I think NASCAR Man tweeted today that they unveiled the COT back in like January of 2006, and it looked very different from the product on the track. So if there's something that fans don't like, I don't think people should take.
This
too
isn't
much
the finished
anger
product. Yeah, it's not the
in
finished
it.
product yet.
Yeah, there's
still be
still
tweaks.
room. Yeah, there's still tweaks. There's still room that if they need improvement, they can put into it. So I don't think anyone should be like, "This is the end of the world."
it's the end.
Off.
I'm just shocked that they're even bothering to test it at Texas. Like, I feel like that track's just a lost cause. Like, why are we even spending any money to try and figure out how to make that racing better? Like, at this point, just throw in the towel.
They're probably like, if we can get it to work at Texas, we can get it to work anywhere.
If they can get
good
past
point.
to get Texas, they're like,
Litmus
hey, we're
test.
good. We're set. We don't need to test anywhere else.
That's a good point. That is a solid point. I saw a couple people in the chat mention this. Like, a lot of people, I feel like everyone's focused on the Camry. We're focused on the Mustang, but a lot of people seem to be focused on the Camry, saying that some people say it looks really good. Other people say it looks exactly the same as the
Well, they
current
all
one.
look really good. They all
Yeah,
look
I think
really
they all
good.
look good. I do agree. The Camry does seem to be the least changed. I don't have a good image to throw up of the Camry because right now the Steves are talking. But I don't know. What do you guys think? Like, I think I do agree. I think the Mustang looks the most different, and maybe the Camaro second. The Camry seems to look kind of like the current Camrys.
Yeah, the
more or
Mustang
less.
definitely stands out, because it's really wide too from those leaked images, and also the
Just the
stuff.
sticker. I think the way the stickers
Yeah.
also just add to it. I mean, it is stickers. But
I like it. It's really clean.
I think that they worked on the Camry already to make it look more like the stock version with the Gen 6 car. So I think they probably had the least amount of hurdles to jump through or over to get to where they are right now. Whereas like the Camaro and the Mustangs really had to kind of work within the bodies of before, I guess. But no, I can't stop looking though at that Mustang. I know everyone's looking at the Camry, but it's like the Mustang nose is lower than the rest of them.
And
Like,
the hood too, the details on there. I like that.
Yeah, it looks really good. Thank you, Justin. He's still talking about Kevin Harvick. Yeah, Talladega 2015, not one of Kevin Harvick's final moments. I think we can all agree
I
on
remember
that.
that. Yeah, I remember that.
Are y'all surprised at all that Toyota stuck with the Camry? They brought the Supra to the Xfinity
I would
Series.
have. I mean, that Supra is pretty intriguing. I mean, it looks good, on the streets, but like in the Xfinity series, like I was really surprised. Like I think we'll eventually see it maybe in a few years, but possibly with this next gen, they're like, nah, stick to the Camry and we'll work on the other one later.
I'm not really surprised just because I think each manufacturer wants to have their flagship car or like most well-known car out there. I mean, it doesn't fit in whatsoever with a Camry or a Mustang, but if you're looking at the most recognizable cars from Chevy, Ford, and Toyota, or the ones that people talk about the most from each manufacturer, those are the three.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not surprised with that at all. What I'm interested with is...
He also, sorry to interrupt, I also just heard he said this is going to be in more of interest of the drivers in terms of talent and stuff too.
They
so.
say that about every
Yeah,
car. It doesn't
I
matter
know,
what that
but
means
just
anything. Just
saying.
fairness. That's good. No,
They said it. They said it.
They're saying the right thing. That's good, but yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, but my bad. Go ahead.
I can't remember. I'm on that. I am actually really interested is what happens with the Chevys after the Camaro, because I think the Camaro is like going out in 2025. What they go with after that. I've heard rumors they could resurrect the Monte Carlo.
Ooh.
They could go back to the Impala, which is way different than when it was back when it raced in Cup. So that's going to be really interesting moving forward with how they change it up.
Well, are they mentioning anything, any specifics at this point beyond just it's a big stepping stone, blah blah blah? We want the drivers to like him.
They're kind of just still on it right now.
Okay.
They're showing the cars a little bit more, but like from wide angles.
Okay. We'll wait before talking about some of the specifics about the car and what things we know already. We'll wait until they've said their piece, I suppose. Thank you, Steven. Is it February 20th, 2022 yet? Daytona, hurry. So we know Steven's very excited about what he's seeing right now, and I don't know. These look really good to me. I mean, we kind of, to me, this reveal is all about just the style. Like, okay, good. They look like a Mustang. They look like Camaro. They look like Camry, and they look good. I do think they look as good or better than the current Gen 6, which I think is a success. But I think most people care more about how they're actually going to race, especially at, I think, road courses and intermediate tracks are what people are most concerned with. And obviously that all remains to be seen. But success, this looks good. I haven't seen anyone trip and fall during their little hype video here, so nobody's making a fool of themselves. That's good. Good PR so far. I'm liking what I'm seeing.
It's very much a lot of what you expect to say. I want to see more up close on the cars. I appreciate hearing what they have to say about it, and there is some little tidbits to learn about here. I just love to see the cars up close more with it.
Now, they did mention these are composite bodies too. That's a huge plus.
Yes, and
huge plus.
Justin also mentions that with the super chat as well, the composite bodies. We knew they were planning on doing composite bodies, but it's good to know that that is in fact the case, similar to what the Xfinity Series currently runs. And I think that's huge. I think they're cheaper, I believe, and they're honestly a little more durable. At least they give a bit more than the current Cup Series cars do. So
yeah,
it's a good thing.
Now they're having the manufacturer leaders come up.
Yeah.
Oh,
and
boy.
the winningest drivers.
Oh, who's that going to be?
So Chase Elliott.
That Camaro does look good.
Chase Elliott, of course. Okay, so they got the drivers that drove them up coming up with them too.
Yeah. Thank you, Tyler. How fast do you think pit stops will be? Ooh. I think they'll be sub 12 seconds pretty consistent. I think they're still going to have to wait on the fuel guy a little bit, so that's not going to you're not going to see like 8-second pit stops, but
no, not like F1.
No. Thank you, Gamer Boy Plays. I appreciate that. But you're right. They all do have small. I'm imagining this is the short track road course spoiler size, because I imagine they're still going to have a little bit bigger spoilers at the big tracks. I believe that they've discussed that's still the case.
I'm telling you, no matter what angle they show of these new cars, they all look like the nose is a little bit lower.
Yeah,
like it's like the cars. Like if you're looking at it from the side, it's like they're all kind of just like this a little bit more. Like that. I don't know. Maybe it's just an optical illusion, but I agree.
You know what would be really interesting? You don't see it as much with the ride heights gone, but back at like in the COT days and early Gen 6 days at like short tracks like Martinsville, you'd see the cars like facing upwards and then just plow down into the corner.
Oh yeah, those were the days. Cool. Those were the days.
I was like that.
Right.
So I'm wondering if something like that's going to come back, because like you said, it looks like the cars are facing downwards more. They look faster in that regard.
Sean, thanks for the super chat. The best part is that qualifying and practice will be back with these new cars.
Yes, good for young drivers. Good for young drivers to
get
that practice again.
And good to keep feeling out these new cars. Because I do think, regardless of the specifics of the rules package and stuff, I think just in the fact that they're newer, the tires are a different size and shit.
You always need practice in
racing
for that reason.
I feel like inevitably these cars will be harder to drive at first just because they'll be different. I think they'll take some getting used to. So at first, some practice is going to be good, I think, for everyone to kind of figure out and test the limits of what they can and can't do with these cars. I do appreciate that during this little broadcast, they're doing a good job of still showing a lot of wide angles of the cars. Like even though, Chase is talking, I don't know who this guy is, but this guy talking as well.
He's from Chevy, so they're having like
good, yeah. But I'm glad that they're keeping it a wide shot so we can really just bask in the glory of the Camaro ZL1.
The ZL1.
Ooh, you guys are ahead of me, I think, but they're zooming in on the tires and
stuff.
Yeah,
this single lug nut deal's really grown on me, to be honest. I was like against it at first.
I like the design of the rims, the new rim.
I do.
I think that looks cool. The single lug nut, you gotta do what you gotta do, I guess. But I like the look of the look is there.
Now, will there be cautions thrown 15 laps after they roll off pit road? That's joke. It's a joke.
Thank you, Gamer Boy Plays. Appreciate it. Yeah, chat, what do you guys think of the rims? I see a lot of people saying they look good. Slick, hot, a lot of positive. So cool. Yeah. Some comments in Russian. Welcome. But no, this looks very good. Yeah, is it just me? Like, maybe it's just the wrap. You see how, like, on the, I can't, like, put my mouse, or maybe I can on this. No, I can't. My mouse doesn't show up. Now they've cut away. But like, on the front of the Camaro, it's like, maybe with just the paint scheme, it's like, it looks like it's angled like this. I don't know what I'm doing with my hands. This doesn't make any sense. I'm sorry, but it looks different. I think it's just the paint scheme. I think it's an optical illusion more than anything. Oh, boys, we got our fourth. We can run a full game finally.
Let's go.
Let's get him in here. See if he's seen these cars yet. There
we go.
Hey, Danny.
Hi, Danny.
Hello.
Howdy. Thank you, Arian, as well. When do you think NASCAR are going to start adjusting their focus on what's popular these days on the road? Crossovers or SUVs? Do you think we'll ever see an SUV NASCAR series?
Unless we are going rally car racing in NASCAR.
Hey, let's go. Let's do some tractor racing. I ran the John Deere already, or lawnmower racing. I already ran the John Deere over the weekend. So
someone get this man a contract.
Hey, this is something that I don't think they've really talked too much about yet. but I've noticed when they show both sides of the cars, there are exhaust vents on both sides of the cars.
Yes.
Are we getting back to the X pipes?
Yeah, that was something I think was seen on the original like testing versions too.
Yeah, I think that has been confirmed at this point that they are going to do something like that. If I'm not mistaken.
So I kind of wonder, like, the sound is going to be different with these cars. We know that just from the video that we've gotten already. I'm kind of wondering, though, I am very curious about what happens then at the super speedways. I'm sorry, I'm nostalgic. I have to have that nostalgia come out a little bit in me. But I know a lot of people have been asking for X pipes, and it looks like they basically, with this, they've shown every step of the way they've had them. So
Cindric ran X pipes last year in an Xfinity race at Daytona, didn't he?
He did.
He did at Talladega.
Or
this year,
Talladega,
too.
maybe. Or
Yeah,
was this year.
The Stuart Haas guys did last year, and they sounded hot.
Yeah, they sounded good.
Because I remember it being at Talladega last year, and just every now and again there'd be a certain amount of cars that go by, and you could tell that they sounded different.
Yeah, like, whoa, what's underneath the, like, no?
Did Logano just mention that they're going to have a 5-speed transmission? Did he just mention that?
Oh, yeah, they already mentioned, 5 gears.
Yeah, they confirmed that. They're going to have a 5-speed, so there'll be a 5th gear at most tracks.
So that's going to be different
shift
playing.
into.
That's going to be different in general playing NASCAR games online on the consoles. You're supposed to switch to manual to the 4th gear.
Well,
And it's a
remember,
totally
5th gear.
not for the video games, but for real life, it's now just basically a straight up and down sequential shifter. So that's going to also be a lot. Wow, we got a ton of super chats. We'll get to those in just a moment. If folks appreciate it, we'll answer your questions in just a second. But I want to
new 5th gear. See, like, that's the thing. That's the common theme with this car. New, everything. Like most things, just new.
This is a good view on screen for the stream. As you can see, another focus with the next gen is that the cars are going to be symmetrical. You're not going to see the cars really skewed to like turn left as much as even the Gen 6 are now. It's not as bad as some of like the Gen 4 cars were super like we're not symmetrical in any way. The next gen is going to be symmetrical. You can kind of see with this shot. I know it's kind of small on y'all's screen, but again, if you're looking at NASCAR stream, you can see it straight on. That Ford Mustang looks pretty symmetrical. The rear end is not skewed in any major way, and I think that's going to be key when it comes to limiting like the effects of side force and intermediates, things like that. Hopefully it helps make these cars a bit less aero dependent, but
I just gotta say this Ford
looks so good.
This looks a lot more like a straight Mustang than the current NASCAR Mustang.
Yeah, and dude, those blue rims on the side of this one, those are nice.
Yeah, I think Penske should keep up the trend of matching the rim colors.
Well, and it looks like the rear end, aside from the diffuser, the rest of the rear end it looks up. I'm wondering how the bumpers are going to line up. That's one thing I'm wondering for short tracks and super speedway races. How are they going to line up for a bump and run or for bump drafting? That might be something they need to address in testing if they haven't already.
And it looks like Twitter seems to be we're still
the YouTube ratio is still very positive. So that's
and I'm seeing some positive stuff on Twitter too. I know somebody just said they needed to go the whole do the whole spec deal in terms of spec racing and stuff. I'm like, that's probably the best way to roll out.
I'm going to go read some of these super chats. I appreciate it, y'all. Thank you, Alan. I completely disagree. I like having no practice or qualifying. We do not need 3 hours of practice, but I do like the Ford Mustang.
We need some type of practice, though.
Yeah, I think we need some.
We need practice.
I'm with you.
I understand cutting it, though,
Not only do the drivers and teams need practice, honestly, the TV networks and the tracks for having fans like inside something to do, we all kind of need it a little bit.
Yeah, it's part of NASCAR. It's been part of NASCAR for years. Just
it's
cut
business
back
decision.
to practices. Yeah.
That Camry looks just like a regular Camry, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Who they got coming out? Denny? Oh,
Denny.
Jordans,
And he's wearing his Jordan 11s, too, I see.
Thank you, Hunter, as well. Is it true that the Xfinity cars will keep the 15-inch wheels? Because if so, I'm intrigued to see what they look like with the 15-inch wheels. I assume the Xfinity cars are staying the same. I don't think they've announced any changes to the trucks or Xfinity cars. Yeah. So that will be weird. You'll have two completely different, I guess they already are sometimes different, but completely different Goodyear tires at the track each week.
Also, this is a detail that just came out on Twitter. Each NASCAR Cup Series team will be limited to 7 cars per team beginning next season.
I'd heard that was a possibility. I think it was like, I don't know if that's specifically only 7 or if it's like 7 active. I made a note of that somewhere, I thought. I guess I didn't write it down, but yeah, I heard that that's one of the ways. It's basically like a built-in salary cap, not a salary cap, but a built-in cost cap If you can only, instead of having an unlimited fleet of cars, you're forced now to only have 7. But that goes in part
That would
with
change it up a lot.
the next gen car is supposed to be more versatile. They're supposed to like be able to swap out just a few parts and take the same car from Martinsville to Texas, and it can still basically work, right?
That's something I'm wondering about, because I know the COT was supposed to be that way, and the teams basically worked that out of the COT. So I wonder if NASCAR is going to have to take a more proactive approach with this and basically be more involved in the team's dealings with this. That's one thing that I think they need to address versus last time, because that was part of the goal with the COT, is that these cars can be used anywhere, and there were still super speedway cars, short track cars, intermediate.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering what NASCAR's approach is going to be to this.
Hey, real quick, do you guys see the spoiler on this camera? You see the black part, but then you can see a clear resin part. So it looks smaller, but it's actually a little bit bigger than you think it is.
Well, that's the Camaro has a different one too than the Camry, and the Mustang has a different one too. I noticed that, and I'm wondering if those are just like the 3 designs they're using for the 3 packages.
I don't know, possibly. I know it's kind of interesting back in like 01, 02, where like the GM cars definitely had a completely different shaped spoiler.
Yeah, because I think at that point they still used like the company factory made deck lids back then. What I'm wondering too is because it is basically like a spec car, but I'm wondering if one manufacturer starts getting an edge over another, what they're going to do with it. They really never talked too much about that with the COT and Gen 6, but I'm wondering if we're going to see more manufacturer wars come back with just different, teams learning different things over time.
Well, I know when Camry switched to this particular style in 2017, it seemed to make some kind of an aerodynamical difference. So we'll see. This one looks a little bit more rounded, I think, than what they currently have now that I'm looking at it.
Yes.
I'm throwing up an image on the stream. You sent this in our group chat, Jarrett, but this was Adam Stern posted. This is more of a diagram of what the next gen looks like. And so you can see it kind of highlights the shorter deck lid, so a little stubbier back there, smaller greenhouse we talked about, the hood, louvers, hood vents, nostrils.
And also lowering the roof line helps a lot too.
And that stepped splitter. Yeah, Jarrett, we had the
Yes.
same idea at the same time. Yeah. That's big.
Great minds think alike.
Great eyes drawn to the same beautiful piece.
But that is something that I'm going to be interested with too, is how that affects the racing. Yeah, there's going to be part of the splitter that's going to be flat on the ground, but you're not going to have cars plastered anymore. I think that's going to be really interesting. What's going to interest me is what happens when somebody. I'm thinking of all the scenarios that could happen.
Oh, they got him on iRacing. I see. They got him on iRacing.
The Pro Invitational tomorrow will feature these. Or
is it tomorrow or tonight?
No, it's tonight. My bad. It's tonight.
Look at all these generic cars just driving around. Tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern time, FS1. Everyone be there.
Did I overhear you guys say that they'd be testing these cars soon at
Texas? Yeah, you heard that right.
I swear, I just won't be surprised if just a few weeks before we hear they're going to do them at Texas. I wouldn't be surprised.
I think it would depend on how the test goes. I don't know just yet if I would personally, just because there's to me the COT coming out early and then the whole plan being scrapped with that just kind of, I think it jumbled up everything happening with that. What I would want to see is what they did with Gen 6 with a lot more testing at the super speedways first, because I do not want to see a choo-choo train of 40 cars. But there's just something about, the new car, the new seat, and everything.
If they only have 7 of them, they're going to want to take care of them at Daytona. Remember that.
You better not. Yeah, you better not.
What is this edit doing right now? I'm watching the stream. It's a bunch of, is it over?
I think
it's over. That's big.
Oh, wait. Coverage has concluded.
They look good, though. Well done.
So my question is, like, what's going to become, like, you got these teams like, I know Spire's been doing it. Rick Waring does it. All these teams that run like cars that were actually from 2018, 2019, something like that. What are they going to be doing, I wonder?
They got to buy the same car.
You got to buy the same car.
They got to. It's going to be expensive at first, and hopefully it'll save them money. They'll just be really stingy with it down the line. They'll be careful with it.
I am thinking, since everyone's going to have to buy cars from the same place now, like these teams that relied on a Hendrick or a Childress or a Roush, like – they're going to have a full culture shock with this. Like on top of already a lot of stuff changing internally with teams, there is going to be a huge culture shock with this change. So I don't know really what to expect, because we have not had something this we've not had this big of a change this quickly. Really, I don't even remember any time being a fan we've had this quick of a change.
Now, some people would say the COT, but even then, like it was like a one of those transition type deals. In 2007, they ran it and stuff. But no, this isn't. But like this though, this next gen, this is like a different level of change that the sanctioning body hasn't seen before.
Oh, hey, I see we got Donut Media in the chat. How's it going?
Donut
Hey,
Media.
what's up? How's it going? Yeah, big fan, bro.
Howdy.
Wow.
I get you all on here sometime.
Yeah, for real. What's up, man?
I'm trying to put together more photos to show everybody, but yeah, y'all can keep talking.
Well, and for people, I just want to make it clear, like I'm not somebody who just started watching like 5 years ago. I mean, I've been watching
since 04.
So you 17 years, me 16 years. I mean, nearly a decade and a half, over a decade and a half now, and there's never been a car, a movement, a culture shock like this that has changed just about every single aspect of the sport. I mean, even to the fact, if they do move the numbers back, just to how they push sponsorship. So this is something that like it feels weird to say that, as we cover this, that we don't know what to expect, but we really don't.
We don't know what to expect. I have no clue.
Sorry, I just threw a huge photo on the screen, blocked all your beautiful faces.
Oh, no.
There we go. Now I just want to get like a good kind of montage of all the cars, just so we can see them in all their glory while we're talking about it. I do want to get to a few of these super chats because we have a bunch piled up, and I want to hear what everyone else is thinking now that the actual show, if you will, has mostly concluded. But thank you all for tuning in. Gosh, I noticed NASCAR stream ended, and everyone came to our stream.
It went up.
So thank you all for being here. Appreciate it. Gosh, where do I even begin? Hold on, I want to make sure I'm looking at the right stuff here. Oh, geez.
Dude, they keep adding up. They keep adding up, Eric.
Let's see. We left off the Gamer Boy Plays. He says he does not like how the Mustang looks, so we have one detractor there. Wow.
Really?
Arian says, oh, look, it's Crybaby Joey Logano, so we don't have a Joey Logano fan here. Groovy Goose says, what if NASCAR puts in automatic transmissions? I don't think.
I don't think.
If they go automatic transmission, then everyone can race.
Yeah, I can race finally. I can race.
Hey, Eric, can you throw up the picture of the Camaro again, real quick?
I have it just on a slideshow, so it'll get there eventually. There it is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, the thing I noticed about the Camaro is just how much more it comes to a point, like at the back of it compared to what they have today. Now, I do like on the front, I noticed they still have it looking more like the rounded off version of the Camaro.
That's what I said.
Which is going to be, that's going to be to their advantage. But then I recognize, it's weird, I recognize the back part of that roof as belonging more to a Camaro. A little bit more brand recognition on this newer car.
I would agree.
And I want to point out, we're sitting at 2,000 live right now. Let's see if we can get to 1,000 likes right now.
Click that
that like button. But one thing, this is a really weird comparison I saw on Twitter, but I saw a few people making it, is that the rear end kind of has like that Lightning McQueen look where it doesn't really go down all the way. Like it's a weird thing to compare it to.
That's what I'm referring to. Especially, I see it more on the Chevy than I do the other ones. The Chevy definitely see it.
Definitely. But that was something where it just looks different, but it does look like what you see on the street. I don't have a picture of a Camaro on me right now. I'll be real. I don't take pictures of those all the time.
I have one, I think. Wait, do I? No, that's a Camry. It's in here somewhere.
So it was funny. I noticed. That's a straight TRD Camry right there.
That's a street Camaro Z01, I believe.
Yeah, it's very similar. It's very similar, right?
I like how it's got the little spoiler in the background, or that weird wing. There's a Mustang, or there's a Shelby, I guess.
And obviously, you're gonna have to make a few minor adjustments to make everything fair. Like that's obviously gonna happen. So we're never gonna have it strictly like 100% stock, just because these cars are built so differently.
Yeah, these cars haven't been truly stock cars for quite some time already.
But I give them credit for how close they made it look, and how much they've had to change. I think in a lot of ways, having the COVID break and having that extra year to get this stuff down may actually come out in their benefit.
In the long run, yeah, for sure. No, not having to wait, and a whole season to get it out and stuff. So they had a lot more time to test.
Because even when they did stop, it wasn't for the full year. So they still had extra time to get stuff right. And I can only see that being good. I can't see how that would be anything bad whatsoever with
and
this.
I also like how they had a mixture of veterans and some of the younger guys testing out too. Like it wasn't like just cut off to one subsection of a type of Cup Series driver we have. It's like no, it was like a plethora of them. So it was good on them for doing that. Get multiple opinions.
I want to throw this up. This is not going to look good at all on camera here. Maybe I can fix it. These are from Bozy on Twitter. Some more photos. Let me see. There's a good photo of the Mustang. I just saw he posted. Oh, and it just refreshed on me. Good photo of the Camry as well.
See, that Mustang just keeps drawing my eye.
You're still looking at the Mustang. It's in the background. You're still looking at it.
Sorry, it's just so good.
It's a good-looking car, but
it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, it's solid. I think the wrap did the numbers for it as well.
A little bit of fender flare on that Camry I saw.
Oh, pass through. Bring him in. They got to repair
pass
that.
Through, yeah.
They could commit those Toyotas already cheating.
Them cheating Yoders.
Damn Yoders.
Oh, son of a gun.
Now we need Richard Petty to move over to the Yoders to piss off all the boomers officially. That'll officially run them all off. I know, that's what I'm saying.
We'll see. I do want to get to a few more super chats. Thank you guys.
Oh my gosh. What? I just saw this. iRacing got caught in 4K, y'all.
Oh no!
What? No.
They responded to each tweet within a second of each other for each of the manufacturers, saying this one is my favorite. Don't tell anybody.
No.
That's funny. That's just clever. That's good. That's good stuff. GN says that we have to compromise 1 hour of practice, qualifying, and that's it. TV partners are threatening NASCAR. So GN's with us that we need some practice and qualifying still. Henry, what do y'all think they'll do with the Gen 7s when they're old enough for ARCA? Do you think we'll see Gen 7 versus Gen 4 for GOAT status? Do you think we'll still see ARCA cars, or we'll still see Gen 4 cars in ARCA?
Yeah, it's ARCA. Of course, we'll see Gen 4 cars still. At least one of them car, right?
Heck, I wish that someone could just randomly show up in an old car tomorrow in ARCA and be ready to go.
Oh my God, the wing on the back.
About 31 minutes ago, Team Chevy actually posted about four different pictures on their Twitter of different angles, side, front, rear view of the new Camaro.
Who was it? Who posted it?
Team
it was Chevy themselves.
Chase Elliott just quote tweeted it as well about 10 minutes ago.
All right, let me see if I can find it. Sorry, I got a lot of windows. I have multiple computers up here as well. I got a lot of stuff going on. Oh, yeah. I'll put that together, and I'll be able to put that in a little viewership package for everyone in a second.
I like that it was like the rear stickers they have for the lights actually look like they're lights on a streetcar. I don't know why they light up more. That's just something.
They look reflective. Here, I'll just give you just a second. Everybody watching, we'll pull these up as well. Or if you have Twitter, you can go find it.
I think they should make them like that. I think anything that can make it look just a little bit more like what somebody can have, like on the road, I think helps, even if it's not exactly that.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be perfect.
Oh gosh, they always show up really huge at first. Sorry, everybody. Just massive. Hold on, gotta scale it. You guys are seeing how the sausage gets made.
I was gonna scale it back.
YouTube editing life, live streaming life.
Sausage.
Here we go. These are good photos, though.
Yeah, I like those images. Yeah.
All right,
a lot of contrast.
Ooh, they so sharp.
They up the contrast on these ones for sure.
Everyone on Twitter is really trashing the Camry.
Really? I just don't think it looks as different. It looks kind of like the current one. The Mustang and the Camaro clearly look a little bit. I mean, I shouldn't say clearly, subtly, but they do look different. You know, God, these images though, these are some good photos.
Yeah, they took some nice photos for these.
Yeah, they definitely know what they're doing when it comes to getting the hype up for it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. A few more super chats. I want to know what the fans at home watching are thinking about this. Where are we here? Isaac says, "Not gonna lie, I'm nervous. If this doesn't work, could this be the Cup Series' end? I mean, that's dramatic, but I think we got years from now to worry about that.
But it would definitely damage it.
Yeah, it would damage it for sure.
As we progress, as cars progress, this will never be the last car. We'll eventually have.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, I wouldn't put all the eggs in that basket. Don't keep yourself up at night too much.
We'll see you guys in 15 years for the next gen review.
What is it, Darian? In 30 years, we're gonna be in the Hall of Fame, right?
Oh no! They still fell for that.
In our chat, guys, I just shared a Photoshop done by Drive-Thru as like a little preview of what this car could look like with a new number swap.
It's like, it's intriguing, I gotta say. It's like, but I'm still old school with it.
I'm still old school with it, but I will say that with the front windows being longer, it makes it less jarring.
It does.
It's just, I don't want it up on the rear wheel well. That just
please don't.
I agree.
But
cannot warp them at all. That would look terrible.
But meanwhile, the wrap on the Camaro, how they did the big Chevy element into ZL1, like that kind of makes me think, okay, well, if a sponsor had that much room to put their big logo here on the back, and a number could be in the front of that, right?
Yeah, perhaps. I wish they would leave it up to the teams to decide, maybe. But then, someone like all the different number placements.
I see some people in the chat have fallen for the Hall of Fame joke again.
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
Purely
3 years, dude. 3 years in a row.
Grow up already.
Was it not obvious in my voice, though? Sarcasm. Oh gosh. No, people aren't in on the joke. That's
dude. It's just Twitter.
The problem is we have 2,000 people watching. We usually have like 500, so there's a lot of new people here that aren't familiar with.
Do it.
No, but a few more super chat because we have like a million to get through. I just want to get through as many as we can. Who's your favorite driver besides Matt Kenseth? No one is Matt Kenseth. Bear Carpenter, is that a dip in the hood of the cars? If it is, how would hood sponsorships work? Is that why they're looking at more sponsors on the door panel? Maybe if the hood's going to be more warped. I know that was an issue in the All-Star race a couple years ago when they did do the nostrils. Sponsor logos had to be moved slightly to not be as distorted. I don't know. We'll see how that works. Justin, thank you. How do bumpers line up for tandems and also boo Harvick? This guy really hates Harvick. Anyway,
he hates Harvick.
I don't know how the bumpers, I mean, they look pretty square. I imagine they could. I don't think we're going to see tandem drafting, but I think.
No, I don't want to see tandem drafting ever again like that. But I mean,
it looks. They look more curved a little bit compared to the Gen 6.
Maybe
so,
a little. They kind of look more like Xfinity cars in that respect. Xfinity cars, especially the rear bumper, is a little bit curved, I believe. I haven't seen one up close in person in like 2 years, so
Same.
I don't know for sure. Same. Yeah, I'm looking at the image on the Camaro. It's hard to tell, but maybe I think they'll be fine. Thank you, Irvin. These next-gen cars now revealed look nice. I'm still curious how it can run with multiple cars and different weather scenarios. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. I want to see more tests where there's multiple a lot of these things out on the track, racing side by side.
So
absolutely,
this is probably just for the show car. But I like how Chevrolet has the Chevrolet logo in the spoiler. Maybe that's another place they can put some sponsorship. And
Ryan Preece was guinea pigging that this last weekend with all that damage, had all the logos popped up.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That was a giant ass spoiler.
Big as a billboard and now functioning as a billboard as well. Ryan is expressing concern that with how little room there is on the doors because of the fender flares, how can they slide numbers back without distorting them? And that's a good point, which is part of why I don't really, if they can't do it without distorting them, I don't really want them to move the door numbers, quite honestly.
No, don't distort them, please. Come on.
No, but he's got a point. I was waiting for the next photo to load so you could see it a little bit better. Yeah, I don't know. That's kind of hard. But look, the Z in the ZL1 is clearly distorted. Even the L maybe is a little bit distorted. We can't have that. That will look stupid if the Richard Petty 43 is all warped like that. That would be terrible.
Well, and it'll mess with multiple factors or facets of the NASCAR industry. You already got the sponsorship problems right there, depending on what it does. But then also look at diecast providers. That's really going to hurt them if the cars don't. I'm sorry, if the cars don't look good, people won't buy diecast, and that is a really big part of the merchandise hauler.
Yeah, that's why I was really curious to see after this number placement to see I'm really interested in seeing the number of diecast cells. I don't know. It might turn some people off. I don't know.
I will say what would look really good with these cars facing forward more are numbers that face forward more. Because so many teams have them facing backwards. It would look so much faster and better if they face forward.
Dale Earnhardt had the right idea.
Like Dale Earnhardt, Dale Jr. Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, right now.
Thank you. Thank you, GP Laps. How about that wide boy Mustang? Yeah, we like that.
Let's make the numbers. Put the numbers forward.
That looks strong. Thank you, Hunter. Now that these cars are more uniform between teams, how will this affect teams' engine programs such as ECR, Hendrick, or Yates engines? I don't think it'll. I think that's where a lot of the competition is going to come into play with all the teams and manufacturers still supplying their own engines. Everything else is kind of spec, kind of coming from the same place. So the engines are going to be where you set yourself apart. And then especially when NASCAR eventually does introduce new engines.
I think now in terms of hiring within these competitive teams, it's now going to be quality over quantity, like more than ever before. So it's like with all the spec racing, like finding every little detail that'll get you some sort of advantage on the racetrack matters more than ever before nowadays. So quality over quantity from now on.
Ooh, I like that, Danny.
Well, let me see this.
What did you just drop, Danny? What'd you show us?
This is from Matt Weaver 2 minutes ago. Look inside and around a next-gen Camry.
Oh, it's a video. I can't easily put that on the stream. Actually, I can.
Yeah, maybe.
Actually, I think I can. Let me see.
Hey, look at the shifter here. Whoa.
So in the pictures, I didn't really notice the nostrils. Getting up close to it, yeah, they're there, and
they're there.
They're actually pretty prominent.
Oh, the rims. I love the wheels.
Let me zoom in a little bit so people at home can see it clearly. Yeah, he's just flying all around this thing.
Yeah, he's getting all of that.
Beautiful. Looking good. Yeah.
See, why were people messing up? They were like shitting on the Camry, basically. Why?
I'm making these noises. Noises.
Like,
Oh my God!
It's coming right for me. Yeah, this is a good, like, I don't know. This is like when you're in Google Earth and you're just flying around like the Empire State Building because it's cool.
I do, yeah.
Get in there, Matt.
Get in there, Matt.
All the manufacturers, the nostrils and vents look different.
Yeah, I noticed that as well.
Everything's different.
Single lug wheel.
It's like at the museum when you're like not allowed to touch, but you just say screw it and you touch anyways.
I wonder if you know how like teams will walk out and they'll get like I used to get lug nuts from team members.
The shifter right there.
Yeah, that's what I was just pointing out. That shifter, man. Yeah, it's new.
Like
so will teams just like throw lug nuts to people like they're a baseball or something after the race?
It's like a softball, slow pitch, gotta underhand it.
I love the touch of the Kentucky tag on there.
Yeah, I like that too. You know what would be really cool to do for a race is like have some drivers have like a license plate on the back of their home state.
That'd be a good feature.
If they're not able to put a sponsor there, they should have something like that to make it a little more unique and like a NASCAR kind of thing. I did notice though, right over the rear bumper, there seems to be a lot more space there, so there probably will be like bigger ads there with sponsors.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
God, this is it's exciting. Like
this is new. This is new stuff, man. We're gonna venture into the unknown here. I mean, the cars look fantastic, and hopefully they race just as good as they look. So.
Rammer's line is a big fan of the headlights, I believe. He likes the way the headlights look. Gamerboy Plays says, thanks for getting me into NASCAR. Well, that's very sweet. Appreciate
Thank you.
I hope you're enjoying stock car racing. Our friend Jake says, single lug nut will ruin the racing. So we got to talk to Jake after this. Apparently he's not a fan.
Hold on. Hashtag next gen is already the number 8 trend in America on Twitter.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, well done, everybody.
How many times is NASCAR trend when it's like they're not racing when it's a Wednesday? You know,
yeah, I know.
Wednesday afternoon, we're supposed to be working. What are we all doing here?
It doesn't happen too often.
What is going on here? It's supposed to be in school. Michael, thank you. That reveal was kind of a letdown. Wish we'd heard more about the rules packages and what was specifically underneath the hood.
I was kind of.
We can talk about some of that
that's one of those things. I guess they could have said more about under the hood. As far as the rules packages, that's still something they should iron out before next year. I think.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I'd rather them just iron it out rather than I know. So I understand some people.
Like, I don't have to know that stuff right now.
Yeah, and I think that we have a good idea of what some of the things are going to look at, but it's not sexy. Like, it's not for a big stage show like this. It's not sexy to come out and start talking about.
It's like, we're going to talk about the rules package, mechanical grip, or the horsepower.
Someone in all caps said, "Look at Jim Utter's tweet." Eric, could you check it? Since I don't think you're blocked by him.
Yeah, I'm blocked.
Am I the only one not blocked by Jim Utter?
No, I'm not blocked either.
Yeah, half the podcast is blocked by Jim Utter, so we can't ever see what he's saying.
I got a million tabs open, so I'll just add one more.
While you're doing this, I'll read this off. This is from Luis Torres. He's a photographer. We've had him on. I think we had him on the show before.
Yeah, we have.
Yeah, and he said, if you love how all 20 F1 cars have onboards, you'll enjoy this note regarding the next-gen Cup car. Upgrading Cup car connectivity will allow for an in-car camera inside every vehicle with the ability to bring fans more real-time data in the future.
Ooh,
I like that a lot. Bring back
that's
attractive.
Have I seen something where there's like a rear camera or something like that the drivers can see, like a backup camera? I don't know.
There was something
that would be like That'd be like modern cars.
Yeah,
Weren't
when they
testing
back up,
that?
maybe. I don't know.
Like into like a rear view mirror.
I
thought there
swear
was.
on it was might have been Tyler Reddick's onboard. I swear I felt like a camera that was like looking out the back.
There's something.
There's not going to be there's probably going to have a little bit hurt visibility with the rear of the car being so much higher than it is now. So I wouldn't be surprised if they might need that, and it would technically be more stock because that's what these cars have nowadays. I know, like
Backup
my
cameras
parents,
aren't they like required now in some states?
I have mine.
I think so.
I have my Kia Soul.
I know my parents both have Equinoxes, and they have those rear cameras, and you watch, and they work damn good. They'd obviously had to be placed differently than on an Equinox, but I mean, can you imagine that though? It's like you get penalized, have to be brought to pit road because your rear camera isn't
It's
working.
like, hey, fix your rear camera. I can't leave the seat. I fix it. Fix it.
Bash it with a hammer.
Yeah.
I think we just lagged. I got too many windows open right now. But hopefully it lagged earlier and came right back.
Just
so it should be
refresh,
fine.
guys. Refresh.
While we're at it, though, we still got a lot of super chats. I want to get to as many as we can. JMN St. Louis, I love how the Mustang looks. So there we have both sides of it. The Portalers says, did any of you notice that the car's rear windows are slightly different shapes? Like
I
Florida car?
noticed that. That
I
was
noticed
pretty
that.
instant. The Camry is probably the one that looks more like what we currently have.
Interesting. Yeah, that is interesting. The Danky Gamer says he doesn't like the Ford look, so the Ford is quite polarizing. it
Wow,
sounds like.
I'm surprised by that.
GN, would you consider doing a NASCAR Weekly Podcast P.O. box for fan mail? Well, that's something we could consider. Maybe one day when we don't live in like 3 or 4 completely different regions of the United States, maybe that.
When we're all live in like one state.
If we ever
we'll
live
do
in
one.
like the same town or city, or even just same state, that might be a little more realistic. Hold on, let me check the stream. I'm gonna see if I can close some of these windows. I have like many tabs open. I even have a separate device connected to my Wi-Fi. Getting absolutely zapping all the power we have here. My OBS is still rock solid, so I'm not sure what's going on with YouTube.
It's fine on my end.
It might just be playing the car video over and over again.
Maybe. Oh, now it's completely off for me now. Oh no.
I'm just saying OBS has not given me any. It's been bright green this whole time.
Yeah, it just went out for me. I can't even hit play.
There,
Yeah, it says an error has occurred. Please try again. Hold on.
Just hit
Me.
refresh.
I was just looking at our how many people we got watching, and this is really a good turnout for us today.
Yeah, just for it's a doubleheader week, so I appreciate y'all tuning in. Yeah, all right, it's back on my end. It should be good.
Yeah, it's working again.
Yeah, it's working now.
People are
Cool.
saying it's not working after refreshing it. I'm like, it literally just worked twice on both mine.
It's all
Yeah.
good.
Apologies if there's a delay. Usually I don't have this many windows. I'm pressing a lot more buttons than usual, so I'm putting my equipment to the test. GN, that was the PO box question. Arian asks or says, been a NASCAR fan since 1991, and the new cars look sick. Now NASCAR needs to do something about needs to do the 2004 chase format again, or something better than the one-shot free-for-all in Phoenix.
Yep, I agree. Something similar to that. Top 10 only.
That's a whole other department than the cars. I'm
Yeah,
afraid.
unfortunately.
JC1424 sends $10, says Camaro Mustang now look more like actual muscle cars. Mustang looks way better without the flat-ass rear end. Toyota guy came on talking about their car like it was his dying son. I didn't hear it. Is that what David Wilson
I don't
sounded
know.
like? Wow.
I guess.
Oh, that's dramatic. I wish I'd been listening to that. JMN St. Louis again. What new manufacturer would you guys like to see in NASCAR? We hit on this a little bit earlier. Any of them for me. I don't have a strong preference.
Dodge obviously would be the first one, and then just for fun, Honda, one of the two.
Hyundai.
But yeah, and then my personal dream would be McLaren to join. That'll never happen, but that'd be fun.
Alrighty. Let's see. I heard. Okay. So this is something right here. I saw a super chat put it out saying that Jenna Fryer has posted a detailed spec sheet of the car.
Ooh,
Oh,
intriguing.
Matt Weaver just brought us a look inside and around the next gen Ford Mustang.
Ooh.
There's a lot here to look at because it's like
is it something I can even
they're-
put up on screen, or do I just need to read it, or do we just
these are pictures. I'll share.
Oh, I see. It's a whole list of vendors. Okay, a lot of these we'd heard of. I see Jennifer's tweet.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot. That I don't know that that's good streaming content.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like
True.
Aero Tech Laboratories will make the fuel cell bladder. In case you guys didn't know that,
I didn't know that.
AP Racing Limited will make the brake systems. Dallara making the radiator ducts. 5-star race car bodies are building the doors, fenders, bumper covers, etc., etc. Goodyear's making the tires. Hyperco Springs. Roush is building the greenhouse, brake ducts, front door crush panels, all bunch of stuff. Sunoco the fuel, Technique Chassis are building the chassis, front, center, rear body mounts, etc. It goes on and on. Jenna Fryer on Twitter has the entire list, just for those of you interested. A few more super chats here while I'm thinking of it. Thank you, Gamerboy Play says he's been a fan since 2014. That's awesome. Rammer's Line says the Camry looks straight up at your local Hertz car park. So they got the stock, I guess. You know,
I got it.
Edible Giraffe says go nuts over lug nuts. Really, like that's an issue. Well, so he's not that worried about the big lug nut.
Yeah, I'm not either.
Okay.
Really.
In the grand scheme of things, it doesn't really too much.
Cameron Andrews was noting the headlights as well. Thank you for the $1 TMR Naz. Hunter says, in my opinion, they look oversized, but I'm hopeful for at least last thing we need is a Car Tomorrow repeat. I think they look lower and almost more smaller than maybe.
It's different. I guess like different people have different interpretations of
I mean,
that.
it's all forced perspective at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah, it depends how you see it.
John Morris asks, what's our opinion on the single lug nut tire? I don't love it, but at the same time, it's not a deal breaker for me.
I don't really care anymore about it.
It's not something that's going to affect the racing.
Yeah.
And if it does for some reason cause problems, you have, they definitely have data that they can probably revert back if it causes problems.
I'm
But I
just
don't think
tired
they
of
will.
seeing people get fined for like, these lug nut violations.
I
Like
do
I'm
think those
dumb.
are
I'm
silly.
so over
Well,
that. Yeah.
It's better than when they said, "Oh yeah, you don't have to have all the lug nuts secure." It's better
Yeah,
than
that is true. We got to find a
So,
balance.
Hey,
but-
it's better.
Hamlin ran like a whole fuel run this last weekend with only
Three.
lug
Like
nuts.
what?
Like what the hell? Like, oh geez. Anyway, SDJ2 NASCAR gave me a great birthday gift today with the next gen reveal, and it's got me thinking. With many brands moving towards full electrification, how do you think NASCAR will respond? I think we will see a hybrid engine in the next 5 years.
We will.
That's
will.
what it sounds like.
I think the new engine will be hybrid.
And I saw a quote from, I think it was Steve Phelps from earlier this year. I think it was before Daytona, talking about how they're open to the idea of like an all-electric companion series one day. What if ARCA turns into the all-electric? It probably won't, but
ARCA.
eNASCAR. That isn't. No, that's iRacing.
But if the truck series, maybe that's the one they go with it.
Oh,
Something
nice
like that.
super chat.
We'll
You got
see.
a nice super chat.
Craig, you mad man? All right, we'll get to. We'll read his right here. Craig with the big 100. My gosh. But from your friends at NASCAR Pole Position, thank you, Craig. Plug this week's Weekly Viewers Guide. Yes, this will be out tomorrow, I believe.
Nice,
Weekly Viewers Guide is very exciting. We'll be talking about a lot of next-gen stuff, as well as this weekend, Throwback Weekend. I mean, this has been a weird week because you got the throwback. We're talking about the past of the sport all week, and then all of a sudden today it's about the future. Like, today's all back and forth.
It's
time
not the
travel week.
1990s.
So
It's gonna be
NASCAR
crazy tomorrow night because we have
it's gonna-
both sides of it to talk about
Yeah,
on
it's-
the podcast tomorrow
It's
night.
wild. It's crazy right now.
And the
So
podcast is throwback themed too, so
Absolutely.
you'll see
So-
some old familiar things.
Definitely, folks, in the description, check out the latest from the Out of the Groove Weekly Viewers Guide and the Out of the Groove Podcast Network, where all of us are located with the NASCAR Weekly Podcast, as well as our buddy Noah Talks NASCAR. If you're a history buff, a lifetime in NASCAR has got you covered as well. Thank you for the massive super chat, Craig, and thank you for reminding me to do my job in front of 1,500 people. I appreciate that.
Get a job, Eric. Get a job.
I fall short of that. I got a lot of windows open here, but thank you so much. Very, very generous. That's amazing. A few other super chats. Justin James still hates Harvick. I'm not even going to read the super chat. He just is trashing
Oh,
Harvick.
God,
I
what
don't know
you
what's going
said?
on
You
here.
leave him alone. Leave him alone, man.
Leave Harvick alone.
Logan drops $10, says, do you think the manufacturers will still be as different looking with a full paint scheme? Because it looks like each manufacturer's wrap accelerated the lines of their car. I agree. Like, if we look at some of these cars, I do think the wrap is meant to highlight certain differences of the cars. So I think right now they do all look very different. When you see just the normal paint schemes on them, I think they'll all start to kind of look the same. It'll be like the current cars where, the front end and the rear end kind of looks different because of where the stickers and stuff are, but the rest of it's kind of the same. I think you're still going to get some of that, but at the end of the day, in order to maintain equal competition, they all kind of have to follow similar templates at the end of the day. So I think you're right. The wraps they have on them for today were intentionally made to look a certain way. I think that's true.
Would you rather see all of the next gen cars painted or wrapped? for next year if that were a rule.
Painted, I
Honestly,
guess, but I don't.
paint
Yeah.
looks better, but
Yeah.
I mean, the
It
team's
saves the team money. Yeah, it saves the team's money basically.
Big Rocky mentioned that Jenna Fryer pick that we were kind of alluding to earlier, and then Irvin says OBS's last gen StreamYard is the future. I've not used StreamYard personally. I've been on StreamYard before.
I have
good.
wait,
Works.
do I have what is it called? Streamlabs. I have Streamlabs through OBS.
Last two super chats. Ken Dog, will this car bring back racing at the Indy Oval?
Nah.
They've talked about like options, but nothing's
Yeah.
concrete.
Yeah.
I think with this car being built more for road courses, I think that's only solidifying the decision to move to the Indy road course this year. That's what I think.
Yeah.
The Dank
We
Gamer,
talk about that all the time. It never happens.
The Dank Heat Gamer is a big fan of your beard, Danny. He says Danny's beard is better than the Mustang look. So,
I wish I could sell it for as much as a Mustang would sell for.
how much would it cost to shave your beard, Danny?
Yeah.
That's a Claudia question.
Yeah, it's fine.
Smart man. That's wise.
She's the better judge than us.
She's the one who's got to look at it more every day. I assume.
Yeah.
I guess that's fair.
I had to look at it for a week straight, basically, for 10
Well,
days.
how much would it cost? If the question to you, Darian, how much would you? Never mind. I don't know how to phrase it.
$1,000.
$1,000. Wow. Actually, a few more super chats just dropped in here, and then we can continue to talk a little more specs, and then we'll start to wrap things up because this isn't going to go super long. We'll talk to everyone.
We
again
got the
tomorrow
Dale
night.
call ready.
Absolutely. Logan again with the $10. Do you think the manufacturers will still be as different looking? I think he sent that super chat twice, probably because I waited too long to get to his first one. But
Oh, no.
sorry about that, Logan. Thank you for the support. We really appreciate it. But I think
you.
yes, eventually the cars are going to look a little more similar. I think with the new wraps and stuff. But I appreciate the support. Alan, I've watched NASCAR on and off since 1990, but when Kevin Harvick retires, I think I'm out. NASCAR leadership is moving in a way that is not for me. So what does NASCAR do? So what is y'all's advice to Alan if that is the case? Because I don't know. He's not specific here. What is he not like? Is he not a fan of the next gen car? Is he not a fan of road courses? Not a fan of stage racing, playoffs? Like that, it's hard to say because a lot of these changes I think need to be made to stay relevant, namely the next gen car and road courses. But yeah, what do you think?
I think I can give a good answer to this one because I was in a similar position when Dale Jr. retired.
Yeah.
I tried rooting for a driver in 2018. I tried rooting for Bubba. It's nothing against Bubba. It's just you can't replace Dale Jr. to me in the way I'm assuming Kevin Harvick can't be replaced to you. So I understand that. What I would say, and this is what I started doing in 2019 and have done since then, has made it more interesting, is just watch the races for an individual race basis. Just watch it for that race. You know, if you don't have to, you can over time get back in, whether it's with the changes or with points or whatnot, or with stages. Just watch the race for the race. Watch for a storyline going on in it. Pick a driver beforehand and root for them if you have to. Something like that. Make it interesting for yourself, and it'll start becoming interesting again without you having to try. Like that's basically how it happened with me.
Yeah, same here. I
good
can't
advice.
top what Jared said. Pretty much took the words out of my mouth there. Yeah, pretty much just watch NASCAR just for the racing, I guess. If you don't have a favorite driver to root for anymore. I was in the same boat after 2017 with Junior as well. So
And you never know. He says he's been a fan since 1990, which means he obviously watched racing before Kevin Harvick showed up. So
watch racing before I was born, bro.
Well, so I just wonder if he went from maybe being just a general NASCAR fan to specifically a Harvick fan, or maybe he was an Earnhardt or somebody else fan and then switched to Harvick. Like, so he's obviously made that transition in the past. So I don't know. Fall back on some of that past experience. What do you enjoy most about racing? And maybe you never know. Maybe you'll find another young driver to latch on.
You've watched it for this long. Don't give up now.
Thank you, Straight Tail. I think. So are the numbers
Thank you,
being
though.
shifted back or not? I think NASCAR didn't want to announce that today because they didn't want that to be the
No,
story.
they wanted this to be like the best reveal ever.
I don't
They're
think they
like,
wanted
no.
everyone to focus on a I won't say a trivial issue, but a very I don't know, a very specific issue, and it's like that's not really the next gen isn't really here for that. The next gen's purpose is to make the racing better and make.
Dude, if they
racing
talked
more.
about that ratio on YouTube would be a lot different.
That's
so
all I'm
like,
saying.
no,
It'd
just
be the
take the
focus.
W. Just take the
We'll
W
see. I
today.
think I think everyone here thinks they probably will, but we don't know for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then Alan says again, playoff stage racing, some of the new tracks, but with all of the NASCAR just seems to not care about the racing. The racing is just not good in my opinion. Well, today's an exciting day, Alan. Brand new car. I think you'll see some very different style of racing at
This
a lot
is
of
a
tracks
new
next year.
hope. It's a
So
new
we'll see.
hope. It's a different type of hope that I haven't felt before. I mean, when the COT came out, I was like, why are we changing stuff? And then also, when we had, the Gen 6 release too back in 2013, that was a new hope there too. And now I don't think this next gen is going to be perfect. It's going to have some issues of some sort to begin with, as these teams are figuring out the car. Now, will they be similar to when the Gen 6 first came out? I don't know, but all indications are this could really set up NASCAR pretty well for the future, or it could completely hurt them. I don't know, one of the two. We're going to find out.
Zach says give it 15 years and Keelan Harvick will show up. So there you go. Brandon says not a fan of Fairweather fans, so he says not worth it. Well, Brandon, we got into a rivalry between Brandon and Alan here. I don't agree with that. I think he was going at him. Damn. Every fan has to start somewhere. Not every fan's going to be hardcore about every certain driver.
Come on, guys.
Like, you always got to, I don't think that's.
Let's respect one another.
If every
Come on.
sport only catered to, or not catered to, but if every sport was only watched by its hardcore fans, the audiences would be this,
Yes, it'd be this much. Yeah, so, pretty much.
Now, we are going to start wrapping things up here in a short bit because NASCAR is finished with their presentation. I do want to talk a little bit about some of the specs that weren't mentioned during the press conference today, but I believe at this point are all but confirmed. I guess Jarrett will be back in a moment. We can get his take on some of these things as well. But we know about the larger wheels, 18-inch aluminum wheels, lower profile tires, so kind of like thinner. I think that we all think they look pretty cool. We'll see how they drive. We've talked about the symmetrical car, that rear diffuser. Do I still have that photo that I can put back up?
The diffuser.
Look at that thing. Yeah. Independent rear suspension, completely different than the way they've done things for pretty much ever up to this point. We've talked about the single lug nuts. We've talked about the dual exhaust, which is going to be very interesting, going to create a different sound, I think, a different tone. Talked about the hood vents. We've talked about the 5-speed transmission, sequential shifter, all that great stuff. We haven't talked about horsepower, and I think NASCAR strayed away from the horsepower conversation as well, because similar to the numbers being slid back, I think NASCAR knows the moment they throw a number or two out there, that's where all the conversation is going to be about. When in reality, the horsepower, it's important. It's not everything. Just because the horsepower may be really high doesn't mean the cars won't still be easy to drive, or if they're very low,
some fans, some subsections of the fan base, they love them some horsepower. If they could go back to 900, 800, like they could, but that's obviously not going to happen.
I've seen I don't think this is confirmed or anything by NASCAR. Things can obviously still change, but right now it looks like for the next gen car, at least at first, they're going to aim for 550 horsepower still at the intermediate tracks, like the Atlantas, the Charlottes. Not sure about the super speedways. And then they're going to go to 670 horsepower on short tracks and road courses, which is less than they run now, but still, I believe, a little bit more than like what the Xfinity Series runs. Obviously, with all these different attributes and elements, the cars we already know are going to handle completely differently. But that's what the numbers people are looking at. They're looking at a little less than 700 for short tracks and road, still 550 at intermediate tracks. We don't know for sure what the spoilers will look like, what the downforce numbers are going to look like, but we do know just with the rear diffuser, with the symmetrical side, we know with everything else they've changed, the cars are certainly going to handle differently. So that's why I think we're all excited to see how these cars handle in traffic when they get a pack finally together, which hopefully we'll see at least a few cars on track at some point. Right now, the only time we've ever seen more than one car on track was that like Roval test. I think it was the Roval like last year where they kind of just danced with each other. It didn't really look legit. It was kind of just like, waving at each other down the straightaway. Hey, Kurt. Hey, Martin. Yeah, it was nice. I don't know. We talked a little bit about some of the suppliers. Again, Jenna Fryer, it looks like, had tweeted out the entire list if you're interested in that type of stuff. And then engines, last thing about engines, we've mentioned it a couple times, but I think it's all but confirmed at this point that NASCAR is going to change the engine completely, the engine package over the next few years. And there's going to be electrical components. Will it be kind of like what they have in Formula One, where there's the ability to like store up power under braking that can then be reapplied later on at certain tracks?
I didn't even think about that.
I don't know. I think that's a possibility. But according to Steve Phelps, NASCAR president, he does not believe that any new manufacturers will join unless NASCAR ditches their current engine rules and goes with something more modern that has electrical components and things in it. He's also said though that they're not going to get rid of the big loud roaring sound that NASCAR is known for. They're not getting rid of that anytime soon. But certainly electrical elements coming to the motor probably in the next 5 to 10, probably less than that even, probably in the next 5 years, we'll see. So some of the chat, 7 cars per team. I also want to clarify, some people were saying earlier, that doesn't mean 7 car teams. Like, you're not going to see
Yeah,
7 Gibbs
yeah.
cars. What they're meaning is
No.
like 7 cars in their fleet. Like,
Yeah.
Kevin Harvick doesn't run the same car every week. They have a bunch of different cars that are set for certain types
But
of
you can
tracks.
only have 7 because there's no like limit at the moment, I think.
Yeah, it's
so.
certainly it's basically like a salary cap almost.
But no, guys, no 7-car organization. Like, no, we can't even get 4 or 5 ones.
No, I think they're for the time being, with the charter system especially, it's going to be capped at 4, I believe. But
yeah.
we'll answer the last super chats here in just a moment, but I want to ask the rest of the panel here, just quite simply, what is the best looking next gen car based on what you saw here today?
The Mustang by a landslide to me.
Yeah.
Okay.
I love that.
It's got to be the Ford for me as well.
Yeah, I'd say Mustang too, and I'm a Chevy guy. I mean,
Yeah.
looking in the
Yeah.
background here, I'm a Chevy guy.
Yeah.
But and I don't get me wrong, Camaro looks good too. But I gotta say, I like the Mustang the most.
Yeah, just the
Alright,
looks, it's so wide too. Oh,
I like it's between the Mustang and the Camaro for me, and I drive a Camry. I'm a friggin' loser, but I agree, it's between the Camaro and the Mustang. I might actually lean Camaro. You guys are going all leaning Mustang. I might lean Camaro, not gonna lie. That one surprised me a little bit today. I think the wrap makes it look really good. I'm looking at the photo. Look how big the Chevy logo is on the bumper.
Oh,
that looks
yeah.
cool to me. I don't know why. So we'll see. I also kind
Some
of
people on Twitter, they weren't happy with the Chevy logo, the ZL1 being on the edge. I'm like,
Here is something from Bob Pockrass. The plan is for the next gen car to be used for the 2022 Busch Clash.
ooh,
Okay, so they'll even before the Daytona 500.
there you go.
There were some rumors about it being, the Gen 6 being used, and then the first we'd see him on track was like Daytona 500 qualifying.
The Busch Clash is interesting again.
I still want to know:
Yeah.
are they going to run the Gen 6 cars at Bristol Dirt next year? I think they talked about still doing that.
That's
something I
a
wanna know.
That would make sense.
yeah, that makes sense.
So let's get to a few more super chats, and then we'll start to get out of here. Thank you, Redneck Gamer. Matty D for life. Seriously, the only reason I watch is because I went to high school with him. That's pretty cool. That's a cool story.
That's pretty awesome.
More
That's
from
cool.
Alan and Brandon. They're kind of going back and forth, not in a bad way, it looks like. But Alan saying it's not about Harvick. He's not even my favorite driver, but he is the last connection I had to the NASCAR of my youth. NASCAR popularity is down. You can't deny
I
the
understand
facts.
that. I
get
understand that.
And then Brandon says, same Alan, the elder drivers now are the last link to my childhood NASCAR experience. Watch it for the love of the sport. So just different mentalities. We'll see if that works out. So what
Yeah.
works for some may not work for everyone, but that's I like that kind of back and forth. Thank you guys. Edible Giraffe. Those headphones are the only thing that's holding the hat on Eric's head. What? My hat's normal. What the? Like, I don't wear my hats like I don't wear them like this. I don't. That looks
They're
like
so yeah.
that makes
it's-
my head look huge to me. Like yours looks normal, Jared. My head looks. I feel like it looks huge when I wear a hat like this.
I don't even try to wear hats, man.
I
got
don't
too
wear a
much hair
flat
for
bill
that.
hat, like flat brim hat like this. I put it up a little. I like to let my hair kind of dangle down. I
Yeah,
think
dude,
that's
my hair
fun.
would get so hot in like 2 seconds and with a hat on it. So nice.
Thank you, Barrett. How do you feel about what Junior said regarding moving the drag from the spoiler to the nose of the car? I didn't hear
I
this
didn't
word.
see him say
I
that.
see that.
I don't know enough about aerodynamics and engineering to be able to critique anything Dale Jr. said about it.
Yeah,
So
no clue.
we'll have to find that clip and hear what he said. From Beast of Metal 1989, boo, 670 horsepower, wrong way NASCAR, more power, more.
More. See, I told you.
Oh, they
some
did
people
say
want-
the electrical components coming up will add 50 to 100.
That's
in.
what I was
Yeah.
saying. So it's not a total loss yet. If you want a little bit more horsepower, keep an eye out. In the next few years, new engines might give you that option.
Yeah, if these
And they're-
teams can save money, we might be able to spend more on horsepower. I don't know. You never know.
It's true.
And I'll say that they're not designed to make 900 horsepower like the current 550 engines are. They're not going to have to be like watered down versions moving forward, I don't think, when they make the new ones. So
Yeah.
I think having them designed for that will make it better. I mean, everyone's saying how much they want this, and they also say how much they want like the 90s back, and they don't realize the 90s is about the same horsepower as they would get
Yeah.
with this.
Specifically
Okay.
the early 90s, right? In terms
Yeah.
of that? Okay.
Oh, he said on his podcast post Talladega. I'll be
Gotcha.
honest, I don't watch every podcast of his. So
No, me neither. I
probably
watch
missed
some
it.
of them. I watch a lot of the
I'll
clips they
see-
post to YouTube.
Yeah, exactly. I'll find the clips every now and then. Basically, they're like, yeah, I watched the show for just the clips.
Alan talks about growing up going to Bowman Gray. This is pretty cool. That's a fun place. I've always wanted to go to Bowman Gray. Kevin says, Eric, I love your stuff, but you have to take control of your live chat. I just had to kick my son off because there's some inappropriate things going on. What are y'all doing in the chat?
What? This is what I talk about.
I usually keep a close eye on my chat. We also usually don't have 2,000 people watching, so the chat's a little more active than usual. I have a lot of tabs open, so I apologize if there was anything. I have sensors turned on, so there couldn't have been anything that bad.
Yeah, there wasn't. I guess there wasn't enough mods in the chat today.
We usually have some mods, but today everyone was excited by the next gen.
Coming out of the woodworks,
last couple super chats, and then we'll get our final closing thoughts on this. I appreciate you guys joining us this afternoon. We'll be back tomorrow night, of course. Darian's channel, Black Flags
my
Matter.
channel, yes.
So
but tonight, Indy Cars on NR 2003 at Auto Club.
You're streaming that tonight?
Yeah, after the Pro Invitational race.
Yeah, you're going up or you're going or before?
I was gonna go after or something like that. So it's gonna be one of these late night ones probably.
And then Daniel says, bring practice and qualifying back. Couldn't agree more. Need a good happy hour or two next year. I think we'll get it.
Exactly.
So, very, very exciting. Well, thank you everyone for tuning in. I hope everyone is excited about what they saw. I'll throw up those images of the next gen car.
I'm excited.
Yeah, the Camry and the Mustang as well. So we already heard. We all think the Mustang looks best. I might lean towards Camaro, quite honestly. I want to leave because tonight is the iRacing Pro Invitational. It is just iRacing. It is, we're putting not the best iRacers on national TV tonight, but they're going to debut the virtual version of the next gen car tonight. What do y'all expect at Darlington tonight? FS1, 7 p.m. What do you guys expect?
It's the Pro Invitational, so I expect a lot of Clint Boyer shenanigans first and foremost.
I noticed he's not on the entry list. He's not racing.
Oh, he's not?
No.
Oh, well then never mind. Oh no.
But every fan's favorite Jesse Wuji is.
Yeah, we'll talk about that tomorrow night. That's for sure. Well, I can guarantee you that NASCAR is all right, this is the first that anyone's going to see any type of racing whatsoever with this car. Don't do something stupid.
Hamlin goes to the wall. Takes out 30
Don't do something stupid.
I'm not familiar enough with
stupid.
You got to wonder who will be the first to wreck the next gen car virtually.
My bet's on Stenhouse, and I like Stenhouse. I just have a feeling it's going to go bad. I noticed something. I don't know enough about iRacing and things to understand it, but it was Landon Huffman complaining on Twitter. I guess NASCAR between last night and tonight, or iRacing, I'm sorry, changed some of the physics or changed the next gen a little bit because it was too hard to drive apparently for the Cup Series drivers to race in iRacing yesterday.
Oh, come on.
And Landon was complaining about it. He was like, guys, what are we doing? Come on, just keep it. It's supposed to be hard to drive. Now, I don't know if that's true. I don't know exactly what they did, but I did hear he was complaining about something of the sort. I saw.
Whoa. Why are you doing? Stop changing up this stuff. Come on. It's unnecessary.
Well, we'll see. But that's tonight, the FS1, 7 or 8 p.m. Eastern time. The NASCAR Pro Invitational goes to Darlington with the next gen car. Thank you all for tuning in to our next gen reveal reaction stream. That's Jarrett Lundberg, the Iceberg, Danny B Talks down here, Darian Gillen, Black Flags Matter. All of their YouTube channel links are tagged in the description below. Really, really exciting day for any longtime or newer NASCAR fans. We will see you tomorrow night on Darian's channel, so make sure you're subscribed. 8 p.m. Eastern time live. Have a great rest of your Wednesday. Jarrett, play us out with your Dale Jr. trumpet.
I heard it.
I can barely hear it. We'll say it's probably there. All right, very cool.
All right, time to get some in and out.